Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, my subscribers on YouTube, my peeps on Facebook, everybody at WCC, and everybody at House of Nerdum. It is the DOUG here for his WrestleMania pay-per-view predictions. That is right, WrestleMania is this Sunday night. WrestleMania 30, the granddaddy of them all. And you know what? I'm ready for Mania. I think a lot of people are going to give it slack because, not a lot of build-up, but you know what? I think we'll be surprised a bit. Well, let's start with the match that will be on the pre-show. Ironically enough, and I want to say this, the pre-show match you can only watch if you have the WWE Network. So if you live in Europe, or Canada, or Mexico, you're pretty much getting screwed. I would say Russia, but yeah, Russia screws you over anyway. Anyway, it will be the Usos taking on Los Matadors, taking on the Real Americans, taking on Rybaxel for the tag team titles. I am taking the Usos on this one. I mean, even if it wasn't on the pre-show and it was on the main card, I probably would still take the Usos. I don't think they would lose the belts at Mania. I will say this, if they do lose them, I hope it's to the Real Americans, because if it's to Rybaxel or Los Matadors, I think everybody's going to be throwing freaking beer bottles at the television or in the arena. But I'm taking the Usos to win this one. Next, we have The Shield taking on Kane and the New Age Outlaws. This is when everybody's going to hit that dislike button. I can already see it. And I have a feeling my buddy Greg, he's probably going to write me a nasty little thing. Or say I'm an idiot. I'm taking Kane and the New Age Outlaws on this one. Yes, everyone said, oh, they just turned the Shield face. I think one of the Shield members is going to go back here and cost them the match. Now, I know, yes, everyone's like, oh, like I just said, they just turned face. Why would they do that? They would do it because no one would see it coming. Think about it. You just turn him face and then all of a sudden one of them just decides to join the Authority? It would make perfect sense to me, doing it at Mania. Because I'm going to say right now, if they do it on Raw, that's going to be a buzzkill. Because that would be way too fucking predictable. Do it at Mania, not as predictable. So I'm going to take Kane and the Outlaws on this one. I will say this, I think this match should have probably been on the pre-show. Just because of the fact, and the only reason it's not on the pre-show is because it's the Shield. If it wasn't for that, Kane and the Outlaws and whoever else they would have went up against would have been on the pre-show. That's a fact. But I'll take Kane and the Outlaws. Next, the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Now, before I announce who's in it, please note there are still 3 spots left. So maybe they might be used from. Looks like we may have 3 mystery superstars. Probably will be the day of the pay-per-view. We find out who they are. I'm already going to say this. I think one of them is Carlito, just because of the fact his dad is getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. So maybe he might just do one match for Mania, for WWE again. Do it at WrestleMania, would be a nice big payday. Anyway, the stars officially in this match are Santino Morelli, Brodus Clay, R-Truth, Fandango, Zack Ryder, Darren Young, Drew McIntyre, Jinder Mahal, Heath Slater, Mark Henry, Justin Gabriel, Damian Sandow, Titus O'Neil, Great Khali, Big Show, Alberto Del Rio, Intercontinental Champion Big E, Brad Maddox. You heard that right. He announced himself on the Raw pre-show on Monday. Rey Mysterio, Miz, Ziggler, Kofi, Sheamus, Sin Cara 2.0, Cody Rhodes, and Goldust. Now, I'm going to have 2 predictions on this one. My favorite to win the match is Dolph Ziggler. I just feel he's got the best momentum, and I know everyone's taking Big Show, or Great Khali, or Mark Henry, or Big E, or Sheamus. Hell, there's even some people taking Brodus Clay because either they're tall or they're fat. On the case of Sheamus and Big E, they're strong as hell, and Mark Henry as well. But, I think everyone's going to gang up on the big guys. That's what I would do. As far as for my underdog pick, the one I think has the longest shot of winning it, I'm actually going to say my underdog's Miz. Yes, he's been used a lot since he was put in, I think he's probably one of the underdogs just because of the fact of, to be honest, Miz has pretty much been treated like shit since he lost the WWE title a few years ago. But again, this is my opinion. So my favorite is Ziggler. My underdog is Miz. So yeah, I do say this. I don't think. I will say this. I think Big Show might be the odds-on favorite. I don't think he's got a good shot of winning, because they're going to be smart enough to get rid of his ass, hopefully. Up next, the Vicky Guerrero Divas Championship Invitational. Now, all of the Divas will be in this match, all 14 of them. First one to get a pinfall will win the match. The following Divas are Emma, Asana, Tamara Snuka, Alicia Fox, Layla, the Funkadactyls, the Bella Twins, Natalia, Eve Marie, Rosa Mendez, Summer Rae, and AJ Lee. Now, I know this is going to piss everybody off who's an AJ Lee fan. I don't think she's keeping the belt. If this was a gauntlet match, maybe. But because of the fact it's the first one to get a pinfall wins the match, that does not bode well in her favor, because she does not have to be pinned to lose the belt. Keep that in mind. So I'm going to go at least... I'm trying to figure out who would win, and I'm going to at least say this. I think it's going to be somebody from Total Divas. At least that's what I would do. Make the champion from Total Divas. Now the question would be then, who would it be? I have two predictions on this one. My favorite to win this match is Natalia, because I like Natalia. She is a great wrestler. Yes, granted, she just did lose to Summer Rae on Monday, and probably what was the worst pin I've ever seen. As far as for my underdog pick in this match, my underdog pick's going to be Summer Rae, just because I think it could be fucking hilarious just to see what everybody does. But yeah, I think it's going to be a Total Diva who wins this. If AJ Lee wins this match, I think everyone will be shocked, because I don't think she's got a chance in hell. Her chances right now are the same chances of the Chicago Cubs winning the World Series this year. Slim to none. And Slim left town, in my humble opinion. Next, John Cena takes on Bray Wyatt. Yeah, I'm probably gonna... I know my stepdad doesn't agree with my pick, and I know most people won't agree with me on this pick because they're Cena fans, but I'm taking Bray Wyatt. Don't get me wrong, Cena's been in this thing for a long time, but Wyatt's a young gun, and I think it's time for Cena to... How can I say this? He needs to step back, take some time off. I'm not saying, because I don't like Cena, but he never gets a time off. Even when he's supposed to be hurt, he comes back way earlier than expected. Have Wyatt win the match, and Cena go away for a while, build up the storyline, and then have Cena come back after a few weeks or months or whatever, okay? That's what I would do. So I'm going to take Bray Wyatt on this one. Please remember, Wyatt does have 2 wild cards in his hand, since he does have 2 people come out with him all the time. Next, Taker versus Brock Lesnar. This has been my hardest pick, because, well, yes, I'm an Undertaker fan, and I want him to win, but my other half of my brain is like, if Brock wins, maybe Undertaker will finally retire and hang up those boots, because let's be honest, we all love Undertaker, but to quote Danny Glover from Lethal Weapon, he's getting too old for this shit. And I love Undertaker, but he really needs to retire. So Taker, I'm going to pick you to win, but please retire. I don't want WrestleMania 31 to come around and you're in a match again, because then it's going to be like, okay, winner of the match actually just had to be in a freaking wheelchair next year. But I'm taking Taker. Alright, next, and it's one of the last 2 matches. Daniel Bryan will take on Triple H. Winner will be entered into the WWE Heavyweight Title match. I'm taking Daniel Bryan on this one. I think Triple H is going to put him over. I mean, Daniel Bryan is a young gun, granted in my case, I've seen him since his Ring of Honor days, so he ain't that young, but be that as it may, I'm taking Daniel Bryan. I know my buddy Greg, he's not going to like this pick either, but he at least knows where I come from. I'm not one of the ones who jumped on his bandwagon when he first came in. I remember when he was in Ring of Honor and when he was in NXT. Most people didn't jump on his bandwagon until the Yes movement started, let's be honest. And Triple H was right about that on Monday. That's when a lot of people jumped on the Daniel Bryan train, was when everybody was doing yes, 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 and that is a freaking fact on that. With that being said, so let's go to the main event. Triple threat match. Orton vs. Batista versus, in my case, Daniel Bryan. Now, I'm going to make two predictions on this one just in case Triple H wins. So let's start with the Daniel Bryan version. If Daniel Bryan does get in the match, I say he will win the WWE title because that's what you've been building up to, WWE. At least that's what I believe. You've been building up the storyline that Daniel Bryan's been screwed at every attempt to win the belt or keep it. He's been screwed out of it. And I'm going to be honest here. If Daniel Bryan loses at Mania and does not win the belt, oh boy, it's going to look like if John Cena would have won an ECW, beat Rob Van Dam for the WWE title at the ECW show a few years ago. I would not be surprised if the fans in New Orleans go off. Alright, let's remember, these are the same fans that went off at the Royal Rumble. These were the same fans that went off at the Elimination Chamber. WWE, you need to have Daniel Bryan win this match. Now, if he doesn't go in, and it's Triple H, and it's an Evolution main event, this is where things get interesting a bit, because I don't think no one really wants Batista to win the match. Granted that Batista would, if he wins it, it would just prove my point that I've been saying since the Royal Rumble, that he's pretty much this year's Rock, and we all know if he wins the title and win, it's because of his movie coming out later this year. So, if Triple H is put in the match, I can't believe I'm going to say this, if Triple H is put in the match, I'd rather have Randy Orton keep the belt. You know, yes, Orton's has not been a great champion, but I just feel Triple H winning it, that would be, yeah. And Batista winning it, oh god, that would have the same reaction if Daniel Bryan didn't win the belt. Because I'm saying here, if Daniel Bryan or Batista, if Daniel Bryan loses the belt, but doesn't win it, and Batista wins it, WWE better run for the hills. Because it's not going to be pretty. It's going to be, because I'm going to say now, there's going to be two ways you get the fans pissed off that night. Taker loses to Lesnar, and Batista wins the WWE title. Those would be the two quickest things that piss everybody off. Of course, the third one being Daniel Bryan does not win the belt, but I know in some people's case, they don't like Daniel Bryan. They would actually probably prefer Batista winning the WWE title. And Greg, before you say you're not, let's remember, you only got and everyone who says they don't want Daniel Bryan to win, let's remember that if you're saying Daniel Bryan's not winning, then you're either picking Triple H, Orton, or Batista. Think about it. Anyway, so those are my official picks just to go over. I have Daniel Bryan winning the WWE title if he beats Triple H. If Triple H wins, I got Randy Orton. I got Undertaker winning. I got Bray Wyatt. I got the Usos keeping the tag team titles on the pre-show. I got Kane and the Outlaws defeating the Shield. I got Dolph Ziggler as my favorite in the Battle Royal, and I have Miz as my underdog. I got Natalya as my favorite in the Divas Championship match, and Summer Rae as my underdog. And that's pretty much it for WrestleMania, guys. So, let me know what you think of my predictions. Do you agree or disagree? And who do you pick to win at the shows of shows? The granddaddy of them all, WrestleMania. Until next time, this is the DOUG signing off saying, have a good week, enjoy WrestleMania, enjoy Ring of Honor, Super Card of Honor, which is Friday night, and enjoy March Madness or whatever thing else you're doing this weekend. I'll see you next time, folks. Woo!